Any injury updates, Roy?
Well, some players are injured and some players are not injured. I think you know who they are. You don't need me to tell you that.
Roy, on what planet is this funny comedy with no insight and no jokes? It's utterly pointless.
Well, of course, you're very much entitled to your own opinion, but I've never claimed that this should be funny. I don't do jokes. I never have done jokes. I prefer instead to concentrate on the football, and of course on Monday night we have a renewed acquaintanceship with our great rivals down the A23, Brighton and Hove Albion. You know, I very much enjoy visiting clubs on the seaside. The last time we were there, we had a wonderful point, of course, and a recent wonderful trip to Southampton. I enjoy going to Bournemouth. I wish Blackpool had stayed in the Premier League, and I wish very much that Sidmouth had a Premier League team, because I very much like going down there, and maybe we could coincide Crystal Palace's visit with the folk festival. Who knows, in the future. But of course on Monday night the rivalry continues, and I believe not so much by what Mullery and Venables may have got up to. It was of course a rivalry which was instigated by a very silly referee in an FA Cup game, and I hope we progress on Monday, because we do of course need a decent trophy to go in the museum in the new stadium. But whatever happens, I hope maybe that the rival fans could perhaps for once come together and go for a walk and a beer, or a stroll along the beach, and perhaps have a stick of rock, and maybe go to one of the pubs or clubs in the lanes and dance until the early hours and talk about the game which they will just have seen. Now there are many people on this subject who very much dislike half and half scarves. I enjoy wearing my Ipswich Town, which of course is another coastal resort. Of course a half and half scarf which you never consider wearing will not ever be for sale. Liverpool and Manchester United, Sunderland and Newcastle, Malmo and Östersund, Exeter and Plymouth, Gravesend and Northfleet, my old club, and Dartford, Crystal Palace and Brighton, Crystal Palace and Millwall and any other club. Those half and half scarves won't exist, so when you do see one, that usually means that those two sides, those two clubs, those two sets of supporters don't necessarily have a reason to really dislike each other. And of course, by buying one of those scarves, you're just supporting an honest bloke, usually, who's standing in the cold and has taken a punt and ordered a certain number of scarves, usually selling for a tenner on the way in and a fiver on the way out. So you're just helping an honest bloke earn an honest crust. So I don't see the point, especially if your team has won, of not buying one of those half and half scarves.
What kind of team are you going to put out on Monday, Roy?
Well, there are people who need a slightly longer rest after the very difficult and very rewarding Christmas period, so I won't be picking those. But of course, we'll be doing all we can for the fans on Monday night to win the game, and despite having reached stage 45 of the ticket selling process, where you now need to have just heard of the game of football to be entitled to buy one ticket, we will be doing all we can to win the game.
Thanks for graciously answering our stupid questions every week, Roy.
You're very welcome. You're always welcome.